So the reason I'm replacing these buttons is because, as I showed you in my previous video, when I cleaned the buttons, I damaged the unlock button and the power button. I was very fortunate that one of my subscribers and an avid watcher of my channel actually has salvaged Jaguar XFs, and I found an ad on Gumtree which I then followed up on, and I got hold of him, and when I phoned him he recognized my voice from my videos, and I asked him if he had an XF that had these buttons with a power button instead of an eco stop start button, and he said he would have a look, and lo and behold, he actually had one. So this actually came from a white Jaguar XF, and this here is the wood trim that was on the car. This is that very nice looking, matte finish wood trim that I really do like so much. But unfortunately, this particular example has quite a lot of scratches on it, especially over here, and it doesn't look very good. But he sold me the entire thing, which came with the buttons, and I removed the buttons so that I could clean them. Now, while cleaning these buttons, once again, a little bit of paint came off the unlock button, and I just touched it up with some touch-up paint, and I think I did a fairly good job, but I know that that area is not going to light up at night. But anyway, on the whole, I think it looks very nice, and everything, the icons are there for the most part, which is a lot better than the buttons that I have on my car right now. So I'm going to show you guys how to replace these buttons should you ever need to. So all we have to do is we just need to pull the wood trim away from the dash very lightly and undo all the clips, and then we just have to undo the cable connecting to the glove box as well as to the switches. And to do that, we just need to press down on a little tab on the bottom and pull that one out, and the same with this one over here. Now this one, you just need to maybe turn it like that and you can get the switch out. And now I'm going to remove the switches from this panel and transfer my new switches on. Using a size 25 Torx, I'm just going to undo the two screws that are actually holding the switches onto the wood trim and replace it with the new switches. The really nice thing about having bought the whole wood trim with the buttons is that I actually have a spare glove box button in case my car's glove box button ever becomes faulty. These buttons don't usually become faulty, but at least I know I do have a spare in case I need it. And it also just attaches on the back here with two Torx screws. So now I'm just going to unscrew the buttons from my car's wood trim, and I'll show you what they look like in a second if you haven't seen my previous video. And I'll keep the screws there. They're not very tight, so when you put them on, just don't tighten them too tight. Just tighten them until you feel the screw stops moving, and that's enough. So you don't need to know how much torque needs to be applied when you actually screw it on. And then you just pull the buttons away from this fixture. Now these actually also, they clip in as well. There are clips that hold them in, but the clips they're not very tight. So this is what my buttons actually look like. A part of my unlock is missing, and a part of the power button is actually missing over there. And I'm going to now replace them with this one over here, which looks way better. Line it up, and yep, once we have it lined up, we can get it into the soft clips, and that's what our buttons now look like. And I'm just going to get the screws on. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually not going to tighten each screw fully until I have both screws down, so that we can make sure we line it up really nicely. Okay, that one is down. This one we can tighten up now, and we can feel, I can feel it really tightening onto the molding, and that's it. Just make sure this one is down. I don't want to have to keep pulling this wood trim off the car. It's really as easy as that. So just for comparison purposes, I wanted to show you guys the difference in the wood trim. You know, the shiny one is my car, and the matte one is the one that came off the salvage car, and it actually, they look quite nice really. I like the matte one very much. I would love to at some point in time replace all the wood in my car with this matte wood. I really like the look of it. But anyway, let's get this on the car. So installation is really just the opposite of the removal. Make sure that you plug your clips in first for our glove box and check that it works. Yes. And we'll plug in the switches, and then make sure that the cable actually lines up nicely inside there again. Now while I'm actually doing this, I just want to let you guys know that when I do my my ambient lighting project, I plan on putting some light underneath this wood trim over here, so it shines down, and it will be an EL strip of light that I put down here. And I've realized that I can actually run my main loom from this switch over here, because this plug actually has a wire to it that leads from the headlight switch. So if I run my main loom into this wire here and run that into the rest of the car for all my ambient lighting, every time I turn on the headlights, all my ambient lighting will light up. If I dim the lighting in the car, my ambient lighting will dim as well. So all I've got to do is just, you know, when I'm doing the project and I'm hooking up my wire here, is figure out which of these wires is the switched wire. And I'll show you guys that when I actually do my ambient lighting project. But for now, I'm just going to get this back on the car, and I just want to get this cable back in there because it has pulled out somewhat, and I don't want to put too much strain on that cable. And then we just line up our wood trim and plug it in. And I'll show you guys what the buttons actually look like now. So that's what the buttons look like on the car now, and I'm very happy with this result. You know, at least I don't have buttons that look tardy, and my icons all looking nice. Now this is the one that I actually did scratch a little bit off. I actually didn't scratch it. The microfiber cloth just took off some of the paint on the upper portion of the unlock over there, and I touched that up with a little bit of paint. Now I know that it's not going to light up at night. So that is how you can remove these buttons if you ever need to replace them. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next video.